I am not hearing you, Barb. Hold on.
Now, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
All right, so a couple of tech things, like if you do StreamYard and you use the video clips when you go live, the intros aren't really showing on this end today. So that's been very interesting. So at any rate, welcome. It was great to be with all of you earlier today. If you didn't watch my interview with Dr. Virginia, I invite you to do so. It was short and it's just really it's really cool to just see individuals just like open up like a flower in the spring. And I got to tell you, Dr. Virginia has definitely done that since she's been in the boot camp. If you've been around the boot camp very long, then this lady is no stranger to your viewing pleasure. This is Dr. Andrea Moses. Andrea, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. For those, go ahead.
Trying to get this light out of my head for you.
Oh, I think you look good.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Dr. Andrea was one of the team leads last summer in July for our pediatric virtual boot camp and cranial adjusting. She is going to tell you a little bit about her practice. If like all things baby, and I love that Andrea just like never stops learning. And always to be in service to pregnant mamas and babies. Her practice is in a birthing center. So she is all about babies and bellies. And then she also, Dr. Andrea spoke at my peds boot camp at Sherman last year. And that was super fun. We got to hang out in the boot camp house together. And then she and I were just in New Beginnings in New Jersey together. And that was just like such a special time. I finally got to meet her husband, Tim, who is also a chiropractor, and share space and time with him as well. So Andrea, we're talking today about ruts and getting in a slump, and having practiced for a couple of decades now, I'm sure you've been in a rut or two along the way. Let's chat about like what have you found is most beneficial to you in getting out of a rut or a slump?
Well, that's a really good question. There's been a lot of ruts and slumps over the last year, right? I'm sure we've all experienced our practices being slower or locked down and then open and then not. And unfortunately, a lot of scared people in the community. So I think what helps me personally through a rut is really caring for myself, taking care of myself, and which includes lots of things, getting adjusted, of course, and praying, meditating, yoga. I love exercise and spending time with my family. And of course, talking with fellow chiropractors, people who are walking the same walk with you and having support, because the day you might be having a bad day or week or weekend, they might be having a great one. So you can just kind of rub off their energy, or they might give you a great new idea or share something special with you. And I really find it important to be around like-minded people and people that are on the same journey that you're on. And if you can get support that way through your family and caring for yourself and sharing chiropractic with people who are doing chiropractic the way you want to do it, it always helps you get up the next morning and turn the new page on the new day and enter it with a smile and be able to, for lack of better, give, love, and serve, just like we heard at Life University all through my time there.
Nice. I love that. Being in community. I find that was one of the biggest downfalls, or really my greatest concern in watching individuals go through the Rona was, as human, we are pack animals. As human, we crave community. As human, we crave touch. Like all of those things are just so important. Hey, there's Jolene in Peru. Hey, Jolene. And so, I think it was so cruel that we as human were penalized for wanting to be together, for wanting to touch, and how crushing that was to the human spirit, to be told, don't touch, don't be around each other. And even to the degree of almost like turn on each other.
Yeah.
And that goes against who we are at the core, because at our core, we're love. At our core, we not only want to be together, but we want to make a lasting impact in one another's lives. Like, look, like consider when our kids were little, they wanted to participate, right? They wanted, like, mommy, I help. Mommy, I do it. Like, mommy, see me. And that doesn't change as we get older. We still want to be seen. We still want to help. We still want to know that we matter. And one of the ways that we know that we matter is when we contribute. And so a huge thanks to you, Andrea, for always showing up and always contributing at New Beginnings. It was like setting things up and taking things down, and being a part of just sharing the boot camp love with New Beginnings, and coming on full force in love with them. So thank you so much for that. I want to also invite everyone to consider this possibility about slumps. And that is, like, remember, it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And that when thinking creates our reality, and our thinking can create this problem, and then we look more and more and more and more at the problem, forgetting it's so temporary. And you know what? If you're in a slump, maybe just stay there.
Oh.
Big deal. And I invite all of you as well to just like drop the expectations and all of the commas, all of the run-on sentences when our practice members are in a slump. Like, oh my gosh, Andrea didn't come in today. I wonder, like, it must have been something they said last time, or maybe she can't afford it, or maybe she doesn't value chiropractic care anymore, and blah. We get like all up into this crazy thinking. And how many times, Andrea, over the last 2 decades, did you make a story about somebody, and when you talked to them, they were like, actually, I just got really busy. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. It's something you always call, right? Your monkey mind goes crazy, right?
Oh my goodness. We just, like, the stories we create about stuff and about people and even about our own lives is really quite fascinating. So let me ask you something. What have you noticed is happening within the birthing population? So that, what, 22 to 35, given the Rona, and in context of slump, withdraw, and ruts. And how are you helping them?
Well, I think if we're talking physically, how it's going, I mean, I know mentally you see a lot of that too, a lot of depression and anxiety and things like that. But if we're talking just straight up physical, I think there has been so much more of a sedentary lifestyle, because many of the mamas, even the school teachers, are working from home. And then when they're done working, they're, they were told to stay home and not go anywhere, and they're Instacarting, and then they're watching movies. And I think motion is also part of life. And what I have noticed in the last year or so, at least in this area, is there's been a rampant uptick of pelvic distortions and asymmetries in the pelvis, and an increase in breech presentations. And it just seems everything, the pelvis just doesn't seem to be getting the motion that it needs. And I think, as prenatal chiropractors, and doing the Webster work and working with the doulas and the midwives and in this area of chiropractic, it really is helpful if we can give them wonderful adjustments to turn their power on and balance their pelvis and free up their neurological interference, but also to encourage them to start moving again. I teach a class for our birth center on optimal birth positioning, and we talk about the importance of getting out and, some of the stuff from spinning babies, walking, swimming, yoga. I recommend different yoga programs to my pregnant mamas, and we do a whole thing on the birthing ball, and how we can, our yoga ball, our physio ball, and how we can just at least move our pelvis. So if you are zooming for 8 hours a day, maybe every 20 minutes or half hour, you can work on figure eights, and you can work on pitch yaw and rolling on the ball, and you can work on just lateral bends and stretches. That way the pelvis isn't, 8 hours locked in the wrong position. And what does that do to your neurology of the pelvis? Subluxation, subluxation, over and over and over, because it's postural constraints of the pelvis. And that decreases everything with the pelvis, how the pelvis moves, how the uterus is attached, what goes on with the pubic symphysis. You're seeing a lot more, lack of better word, lightning crotch, which I don't love the word, but you're seeing more of all of this happen because of the sedentary lifestyle that many of us are leading through the last, 15, 16 months.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And are you having like a 20 minutes to mobility or something like that, like on Facebook Live every day, where mamas can just like join in and grab their ball and get going with you? Or
I think that's a great idea. Maybe I need to do that, as everyone knows Barb pushes us in this boot camp to do something new. Maybe that's where she's pushing me right now. No, I don't do that. I do have a small video on my website that I instruct all my mamas to go and watch, about how to at least start the beginning use of the ball. And I do go over that in our class at the birth center. And on their day one, I do tell them that they do need to purchase one, and I go over the size and what we're going to do with it and why it's so important for second, third trimester, and even fourth trimester as well. So, yeah. But
so
sounds like I need to step my game up, huh, Barb?
So, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Amazon now has that you can get affiliate links for products.
Oh.
And so to make sure they get the right one, right? Because everyone wants to get the right one, especially when their doctor tells them. You would give them a link for the ball that you recommend, and it's an affiliate link. So you'll get paid on them, so you don't have to store them in your practice. And yet then too, you can also see who's purchased them.
See, this is why we love this lady. She's always teaching us bigger, how to do more, and serve. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I would think that your people would love, lunch with Dr. Andrea, and then just do a different, it could even be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Where they jump on their ball and just show them and do it along with them. And for any chiropractor who's watching right now, if you're pregnant and serving in your practice, this would be a great lead by example. Like, hey, everyone, it's noon. Me and my belly, we're doing some moving right now, even though I've been on my feet all day. So grab your ball. Let's get going. And then just create that community together. Dean DePice at New Beginnings talked about Jen doing that 6 minutes to health or something like that. And it's showing up consistently and showing up consistently. Like, there's hardly anything that will outpace the results of consistency. Even hard work won't outpace the results of consistency.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you plugged Jen on that. That's really good. It's 6 minutes to science. It's very good.
6 minutes to science. And it's every day. She's been doing it since the beginning of COVID. And now it's being picked up and watched by those on the other side too. And they're becoming educated and leaning in closer to take a look what those of us who really know what health comes from, the principles that we practice with. And so I posted in the comment section, I think it's coming through, a link to the Ultimate Marketing Bootcamp for all of you. If you're in a slump and you want an opportunity to connect in a really intimate and powerful and super fun way, the Ultimate Marketing Bootcamp, check it out. At the Ultimate Marketing Bootcamp, it's really going to be, we're working for 4 weeks together before we ever even get to Nashville. And the reason why that we're working together is the whole event is about helping you find that grounded state to come from in your personal message and your unique selling point, and then capturing it on image and on video. So in the 4 weeks before we get together, we'll be working on that. So when we all come together in Nashville, we are walking you through. I'm working with with my creative director and speaking coach, Chelsea Avery. A fun fact about Chelsea is that she helped her husband through her help is the world's youngest national public speaking world public speaking winner. And so she and I will be helping all of you learn how to, like, number one, come from a grounded state in your messaging, how to create your unique selling point and deliver it, how to take the stage with charisma and power and confidence, and then from the stage, be able to deliver that. And you'll leave with a video of that, images of that as well. There is a parlor that is set up, and in the parlor room, you'll have your professional headshot. You'll have professional images of you adjusting. We're also creating an environment where it will simulate you doing like a health talk as well as running a mastermind. So maybe those don't seem important to all of you at this point, but as your brand grows, I can assure you, you will want those images. And if you want to really establish yourself as an influencer and thought leader in your community, you have to be able to back it up. And that's why I'm creating this, because I'm in that position. And I got to tell you, it's been a lot of work to create all of that. It's a really expensive endeavor with lots of moving parts to be able to do it for my own brand. And so I'm doing it for all of you. We're having a professional makeup artist. It's a real stage. Like, I've hired a stage crew, a lighting crew, a video crew, a photography crew, and all of that is happening November 4th through 6th. It is really limited because of the nature of so much individuality. So I would recommend don't delay. Grab your ticket. You can use that link. It really will be a special opportunity of community, of learning, of growth. And I promise you are going to leave with something that is done, not a big to-do list to do on Monday. It will be done. So Andrea, as we close this out, what are the like final words as a woman with lots of experience, both years of marriage to a chiropractor, being a chiropractor, like rebranding yourself, and a mom now of college students? What final words do you want to leave with our audience today?
Oh, well, let's see. A couple things. Well, you didn't tell them where they're going for the marketing, so tell them how fun. It's
Nashville.
Nashville.
Yeah, and we have tons of fun stuff. Like, we're all going to the listening room together on Thursday night. It is a really amazing venue we went to last year. It's for up and coming artists who haven't made it on the big screen, like haven't made it yet. And we have our own section there and an opportunity to interact with the artists at the end. And we'll have dinner together. And then we have a special celebratory lunch for the 90-day sprint team. Everyone is welcome to come to that on Friday. And we just love to be together as a tribe. So if you're not in the tribe, I promise you this will be unlike anything you've done before.
All right. So what do I impart? I think that you have to stay true to yourself. So in doing that, I think you should always care for yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, it's really hard to take care of your family and your spouse and your business. And the older you get, you find if you don't put you first sometimes and take care of you, that things fall apart or things might not be as good as you'd like them to be. So I think you should take care of yourself along the journey, including whatever you do. Like I said before, you should also enjoy the journey and try to be with a partner who respects you and loves you, and you guys can enjoy the journey together and you have similar minds. So if that's a struggle, try to work on that in your marriage with your kids and your family. And also be true to chiropractic. If you love chiropractic and you love what you do, and I find 25 years in now, it gets better every year. I'm having more fun. Each time I get into a new kind of niche or a new patients or a new place, it's a beautiful thing. So and if you don't like pregnancy or kids, that's fine. You can do scoliosis, or you could do sports, or you can do neuroeducate. Like, there's so many different things. The world is our oyster as far as who we can care for. Everyone needs us. So just find what makes you the happiest on your journey. And because believe me, it's not pregnancy for my husband. He wants nothing to do with that side. So he has his own journey. So find your journey and be the best you can at it. So continue to learn and find a community like I have here with Barb a few years ago. She's been with me on this whole walk when I switched to a birth center, and I'm really grateful for having her and the tribe and all the information because I keep learning. I like to learn. I go to as many seminars as we can, and I learn from everyone all across the board.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to leave this. Find your sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
And in our sweet spot, and to remember why we started. And we started out of love. And that's who we are at our core. So Andrea, speaking of, love you. Tell Tim I said hi, and thanks for joining me.
Definitely. Have a great night.
See ya. Bye.